He cracked a racist joke in front of the entire cabin, then ordered a black man out of first class like he was nothing. No warning, no reason, just a smug, casual humiliation, the kind that only comes from someone who's done it before and gotten away with it. Passengers chuckled nervously. Crew members averted their eyes. The pilot? He stood tall at the cockpit door, satisfied that he'd put someone like that in their place. What not a single person in that cabin knew, not even for a second, was that the man they just disrespected didn't just buy a seat. He owned the entire table everyone else was trying to sit at. This wasn't just another flight gone wrong. It was the moment an entire system tried to silence someone who had the power to tear it down with a single, deliberate move. He didn't shout. He didn't plead. He simply watched, remembered every face and every word, then made one call that would send shockwaves through the industry. Within 72 hours, careers were over, contracts collapsed, and the pristine image of a world-renowned airline lay shattered across headlines. It started that morning at Los Angeles International Airport. Travelers bustled through the terminal like well-rehearsed dancers in a play. Some rushed with desperation. Others moved with calm assurance. Among them walked a man who didn't move to be seen, but couldn't help but be noticed, Javon Cade. Tall, composed, dressed in a dark tailored three-piece suit. There was no fanfare about him. His energy wasn't one of arrogance, but quiet confidence. His shoes clicked with certainty across the polished floor as he approached Gate 19. This flight to London wasn't just another hop across the Atlantic. It was the final signature, his signaturian, a 9-figure international contract that would define the next decade of sustainable global development. The gate agent scanned his boarding pass with a smile. "Have a great flight, Mr. Cade." "Thank you," he replied, nodding as he walked through the jet bridge into the aircraft. First class was a bubble of tailored luxury. Plush leather seats. Crystal glasses already half filled with champagne. Warm smiles from crew members in practiced tones. He found his seat, 2A window. Just as he set his briefcase into the overhead bin and turned to sit, a voice rang out from the open cockpit door. "Looks like catering let one of the new hires sneak up front. Hope he's not in charge of meal service." Laughter. Nervous and forced. Javon looked up. Standing there, leaning casually against the doorframe, was Captain Leo Dradin, a man in his late 50s, uniform pressed and face smug. Javon recognized him instantly. Dradin was a former military pilot, 30 years with the airline, flagged in a few internal memos over tone issues with certain passengers. Nothing ever stuck. Until now. "You must be Captain Dradin," Javon replied calmly. The smirk faltered. "Slightly." "And you are Javon Cade." Recognition flickered across Dradin's face, but he said nothing and vanished into the cockpit. 10 minutes later, with other passengers still boarding, a security officer and a uniformed crew supervisor approached. "Mr. Cade, could you step out with us for a moment?" Polite. Precise. Cold. Passengers watched in silence as he stood, retrieved his briefcase, and walked with them back into the terminal. They escorted him to a small room just off the jet bridge. A corporate supervisor stood waiting. The captain flagged some concerns. The supervisor began. "He said you were loitering near the cockpit. I placed my briefcase in the bin above 2A. Javon answered evenly. "I spoke 2 sentences. Regardless, the supervisor said he has requested your removal. Your ticket has been canceled. You'll be refunded in full," the security officer added. Javon made one call. "Mara, cancel the London signing. Pull our funding from Meridian. I'll explain shortly." Back on the plane, passengers gossiped quietly. "Guess they're cracking down on freeloaders," one man muttered. "Probably upgraded with points," said another. Flight attendant Rena James overheard everything. And she had seen it all, the joke, the forced removal, the lie. But like so many before her, she said nothing. 12 years in the airline industry had taught her the rules. Never question the captain. Back in the holding room, Javon sat silently for over an hour, no charges filed, no explanation. Just vague bureaucratic phrases. Until a mechanic entered. Mid-30s, grease-stained uniform. "Name's Thomas," he said under his breath. "I work systems. I've seen this happen before. Always people of color. Always quiet removals. They erased the logs. But I saw the override come from the cockpit. Manual. Deliberate. Can you prove it? Maybe. They scrub logs fast. I can try. Then try, Javon said. By noon, the airline issued a formal suspension. Javon Cade was banned from all Meridian flights pending behavioral review. What they didn't know was that Javon Cade wasn't just a passenger. He was the CEO of Varelli Global Holdings, the private equity firm funding their biggest infrastructure deal. That evening, his team gathered in their Manhattan headquarters. His chief legal officer uncovered 6 prior complaints against Drayden. His cybersecurity lead intercepted metadata showing Meridian's PR team had drafted a story before the incident was even filed. The headline dropped the next morning, disruptive passenger removed from first class. They referred to him only as the man. By midday, footage began circulating. Not the airlines, but a backup security copy from an anonymous source. It showed everything: the joke, the calm response, the removal. By afternoon, Javon stood before a podium in a private press conference. This isn't about a seat, he said. It's about a system that expects people like me to stay quiet, stay grateful, and stay out of the way. I fund that system. Not anymore. The footage played behind him. Then a second clip, a cockpit recording of Drayden muttering, "Money doesn't buy belonging. He's not one of us." Within hours, headlines exploded. Meridian stock plummeted 18%. Contracts dissolved. Government investigations launched. Drayden was terminated. The PR head was named in a federal inquiry. Rena, the flight attendant, was quietly dismissed for failing to report misconduct. But the story didn't end with punishment. Javon started a new program under the Cade Foundation, a pilot mentorship and scholarship initiative for underrepresented youth. Months later, the first class of future aviators entered training. And standing at the front, addressing the group, were 2 men, Javon Cade, and beside him a solemn, humbled Leo Drayden. "You can't rewrite the past," Javon told them. "But you can fly toward a future where no one ever doubts their right to be here." Justice wasn't just about payback. It was about making sure the sky belonged to everyone. And this time it did.